The film opens with Andrew Brigman getting ready for his first military assignment. His father, Mr. Brigman, comes to him late at night to offer encouragement, hoping his son will take pride in his role in the military. The next morning, a convoy of heavily armed military vehicles transports Andrew, Rayburn, Coombs, Marquez, Wepler, and Wallace to the Kandahar Valley to assess potential threats. During their search and screening of the Kandahar residence, a terrorist attack results in the death of their Staff Sergeant Wallace, forcing the team to retreat to their base camp quickly. 3 weeks later, a new Staff Sergeant, Deeks, arrives to replace Wallace. He introduces himself and makes it clear that he does not tolerate poor behavior, laziness, or insubordination. He briefs the team on their upcoming mission in Afghanistan, which involves investigating civilians who possess multiple bombs wired to phones with Russian connections. These bombs have been responsible for the deaths of 24 American soldiers over the past year. Deeks refers to his team as warriors as they prepare for battle. Upon arriving, Brigman waves at the civilians, but Deeks instructs him to avoid making contact. Brigman finds himself comparing the old Staff Sergeant Wallace, who was more compassionate, to the new, stricter Deeks, who is focused solely on mission success. Deeks then takes Brigman to demonstrate their approach to the enemy. Deeks signals and calls for engagement to capture the enemy alive, while Brigman and the others storm a house to interrogate a suspect who may know the locations of the bombs and detonators. That night, the squad is experimenting with magical powders using the utility vehicle. When Deeks catches them in the act, instead of reprimanding them, he provides them with a superior magical powder. Later, Brigman speaks with Deeks privately about his desire for a promotion and endorsement as a team leader. Deeks, however, tells him he must prove himself worthy of the role. The next day, Deeks holds a briefing and announces that Marquez and Brigman, who are both aspiring team leaders, will compete in a friendly scuffle to determine who will lead the squad. Marquez tries to gain an edge by taunting Brigman, but Brigman cleverly distracts Marquez by licking his ear, then pins him to the ground to win the position of team leader. Soon after Brigman's promotion, a group of medical staff rushes to attend to Brewer, a soldier with severe injuries from a bomb blast. Brigman, Coombs, and Rayburn witness the grim reality of their profession. When Brigman delivers some important documents to Deeks and inquires about Brewer's condition, Deeks coldly informs him that Brewer has already died, showing no emotion. Deeks then presents Brigman with a captive suspect connected to the bombings in Afghanistan. Brigman, filled with anger, is closely watched by Deeks. Despite his rage, Brigman manages to maintain control and avoids harming the suspect, passing Deeks' test of restraint. As midnight approaches, Brigman heads back to his bunker and spots Deeks covertly handing a small box to Rayburn. Confused and suspicious, Brigman leaves, troubled by the secretive exchange between Deeks and Rayburn. At dawn, the mission to locate the bomb creators in Afghanistan begins. Deeks and Rayburn take the lead, while Brigman, now the new team leader, is tasked with guarding the military vehicles. Deeks and Brigman lead the squad to a nearby area to secure and survey potential bomb locations. During an interrogation of a man holding an old Russian bomb, the squad is forced to shoot him to prevent an explosion that could have wiped out the entire team. Brigman, alerted by the gunfire, rushes to the scene but finds only the dead man holding a grenade, while Deeks shows undue pride in Rayburn. Back at the camp, the squad celebrates their success and thanks their families and mentors as they enjoy some magical powder. Marquez enters and warns them about the risk of being caught smoking and using magical powder in the tent. Brigman, feeling envious of the squad's success, is noticed by Deeks, who, while observing their Afghan translator pray, orders Brigman to take a walk around the camp. Deeks questions Brigman about the recent events and whether he's truly prepared for a job that might involve harming innocent people. He suggests that Brigman might be better suited for logistics if he's troubled by the terrorists. Brigman insists that he wants to remain in his current position before leaving. Upon returning to the tent, Brigman speaks with an awake Rayburn about the moral implications of killing a potentially innocent person. Rayburn shares a story about his father and an empty rifle clip used as a reminder to only use their weapons when absolutely necessary. After telling the story, Rayburn leaves, leaving Brigman to ponder the weight of his decisions. The next morning, Brigman finds Rayburn asleep with the box Deeks had previously given him. Curiosity gets the better of him, and he opens the box, discovering it's an old Russian bomb, identical to the one found on the man they killed in their recent mission. Brigman confronts Rayburn at the gym, asking him about the bomb the dead man was holding. Rayburn acknowledges that he's seen the same type of bomb in the suspect's possession. Concerned, Brigman calls his father, who works in military logistics, to report a potential murder case involving their squad. His father promises to contact the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, about the issue. The next day, Deeks is summoned to the office due to an anonymous tip alleging that he's breaking regulations. Coombs inquires about Deeks' whereabouts, and Rayburn expresses confidence in Deeks, believing he will manage the situation effectively. Brigman, feeling uneasy, is instructed by Marquez to visit Deeks in his room for a discussion. Deeks greets Brigman and suggests they play a game, during which he emphasizes that what happens within their squad should remain confidential. Brigman wins the game, but Deeks waits for his response, leaving Brigman feeling uneasy. Brigman resumes his duties inspecting the heavily armed vehicles and spots an old AK-47, typically used by Afghan forces. This discovery leads him to suspect that the squad's murders aren't aimed at killing terrorists, but rather forcing them to surrender to American forces. As he tries to conceal this information, Coombs summons him to the tent, where Brigman finds the squad torturing Marquez. It becomes clear that Marquez is being punished, not for revealing the murder case to CID, but for reporting the use of high-quality magical powders. Rayburn warns Brigman to be cautious of Deeks, who has significant connections with higher-ups. Later that evening, Brigman contacts his father, requesting that he halt the CID investigation into the possible murders during their mission. He fears that continuing the investigation could endanger everyone involved. A few days later, the squad is deployed to a new location affected by recent bombings against American forces. During an interrogation of a man about the whereabouts of the bombers and bombs, the man's wife intervenes, concerned for her husband's safety. Deeks instructs Brigman to escort the wife to their home. Once inside, a soldier shoots the man, and Deeks plants an AK-47 next to him to falsely implicate him as a terrorist. Witnessing the wrongful death of an innocent person, Brigman is deeply troubled and resolves to continue investigating Deeks, feeling that the actions of the squad undermine the true purpose of their mission. After the mission, he contacts his father again. While Brigman is using his laptop in the tent, Rayburn notices him but offers popcorn, which Brigman declines. They both then return to their own tasks. Later, Brigman sneaks into Deeks' room to investigate the source of the weapons used in their missions. He finds a bag under Deeks' bed containing various weapons. When Deeks enters the room and sees Brigman with the bag, he explains that even unarmed individuals could potentially be terrorists, justifying their actions. Brigman disagrees with Deeks' perspective, but appreciates the candid discussion. They shake hands before Brigman leaves, with Deeks acknowledging Brigman's honesty. Morning arrives and the squad wakes Brigman to join them at the shooting range for practice. After the shooting session, the squad asks how his family is doing and suggests he should call them. Rayburn then directs Brigman to clean up the shooting dummies before they leave. Although hesitant, Brigman complies. As he approaches the dummies, one of the soldiers shoots near him to startle him. Brigman, distressed and on the verge of tears, shouts, "It's not funny," before continuing his task. That night, Brigman hides a knife under his pillow for protection. He dreams that everyone is attacking him for reporting them to the CID, leaving him deeply troubled. Meanwhile, Deeks sneaks into Brigman's bunker and wakes him up. Deeks tries to manipulate Brigman into silence, insisting that he must keep the murder secret. He also uses a story about his own son being proud of him as a military officer to gaslight Brigman. After this unsettling encounter, Brigman calls his father but breaks down during the conversation, overwhelmed by guilt and confusion over what is right. He sobs while talking to his father, struggling with the moral dilemma and the manipulation by Deeks. During the next mission, Deeks briefs the squad on their objective to engage the enemy once their location is identified. He appoints Rayburn as the squad leader for this operation. As they survey the desolate terrain, Rayburn orders Brigman to take the lead. Brigman is apprehensive, fearing he might be shot from the front. A sniper fires at their location, but fortunately, no one is hit, though it causes the team to become separated. Brigman enters a house and finds an old man sitting quietly on the floor. He exits the room, apologizing to the man. As the squad regroups, Rayburn finds the old man and plans to use him to manipulate the situation, intending to make it appear as though the man is the sniper and bomber. Deeks orders Brigman to kill the man. Brigman, shocked and unable to believe he is about to kill an innocent person, is overcome with confusion. Rayburn throws a bomb at the man, and in a state of panic, Brigman shoots him, making it his first kill and leaving him deeply disturbed. Several days later, Brigman discovers that his squad is missing and seeks out Marquez in his tent for answers. Marcus advises Brigman to think things through carefully, revealing that the squad is currently undergoing a trial and being questioned by the CID. Overwhelmed and distraught, Brigman locks himself in a room, his panic escalating as he feels his entire life unraveling. He reaches out to his parents for what he believes might be his final message before grabbing a rifle and attempting to end his life. The film concludes with the superiors breaking down the door and arresting Brigman for interrogation regarding his team's actions. As he is being transported by helicopter, Deeks tries to manipulate him further, urging him to remain silent. Deeks offers to protect the team in exchange for Brigman's silence, promising to manipulate the narrative of the killings of innocent people in Afghanistan. Despite Deeks' attempts at manipulation, the truth ultimately comes to light. All squad members are imprisoned, and the justification for their actions is scrutinized, revealing the devastating consequences of their choices and the tragic loss of innocent lives. The end. So, what do you think of this movie? Did you enjoy the recap? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. One like and subscribe is highly appreciated. Share this video to your friends and family too. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.